South Africa's economic growth increased in the second quarter of this year by expanding by 0.8%, up from 0.1% seen in the first quarter. Manufacturing, mining, trade sectors were the primary contributors to growth on the production side of the economy. On the expenditure front, stronger household consumption and softer imports contributed to positive momentum. For more on the GDP, we're joined by Madisa Zavala, Head of Asset Allocation at Alex Forbes Investment. Good afternoon, Madisa. Thank you very much for joining us on Point. Firstly, your reaction to that 0.8% increase in the second quarter of 2025.
It was very good. Analyst expectations were for a 0.4% increase. So this is double that, actually. So I don't think anyone was estimating that our different sectors would contribute this much. And as you mentioned, a lot of our sectors, manufacturing, mining and trade, were big contributors. But if you count the 10 biggest industries within the bigger GDP pool or basket, 8 of those have been positive or have grown. So that's a very good number.
I want us to be a bit more granular on these key findings, looking at the sectors that you touch on now. Perhaps starting with manufacturing, which has increased by 1.8%, contributing 0.2 of a percentage point in the GDP growth. Your views on that?
Look, very strong. The key drivers there was the automotive industry, as well as some petroleum, chemicals, literally key in our manufacturing has been some of those. So very strong. I think it also does sort of come in a surprising manner, given that, we're currently in the middle of a trade war and the whole point is people want to manufacture their own goods on the ground. So it is telling a good story for this past quarter. We obviously needed to continue up until the end of the year in order for it to feed positively into the outright number or the outright GDP number for the year.
And then the largest positive contributions came from petroleum, chemical products as well, rubber and plastic products. Your take on this?
So this one, I mean, these are raw goods, right? And these raw goods are key in many industries from a global and local perspective. So you can see that there's definitely, activity happening on the ground. You've got petroleum being quite, I think from a consumer perspective, that's a very good thing, because I think from a petrol perspective, we've been, we've gotten some release, especially recently having had an outlook on recently having had news that OPEC might continue to increase supply, which will bring down the oil price even more. I think we may still continue to see some activity there. Chemicals is a good story as well, because again, that's also a raw material, raw goods.